Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Well, hey, welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon. And we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have pretty different tastes when it comes to things. And so we get to experience new stuff from each other while inviting some friends along for the journey. Brandon, how's it going today?
I'm doing better now. My microphone is to my face. As I was about to answer, I realized that I had it about 2 feet away, so the listener would have heard.
Well, I'm thankful that we were able to correct that and excited to dig into what we're doing today. Today, we are going to be listening to the album Ad Astra Per Aspera. I don't know if I said that right.
Sounds like right.
By Abandon Kansas. And so I'm looking forward to getting into that in just a little while. But today we are starting a brand new segment where we're going to check the mail.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
Brandon, let's check the mail.
Let's do it.
So today, first, if you have questions for us, you can reach out to us at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com. Today, our friend of the show, Andrew Blaylock, who we've had on, writes us this. Dear Brandon and Joel, I really enjoyed hearing your top 10 albums of 2025. What's your most anticipated album of 2026? Still listening, Andrew. Brandon, what are you looking forward to in 2026?
You know, I'm scrolling through here right now to kind of look and see if there's anything new that's been announced. And, you know, I think, you know, we mentioned it last week on the podcast. It's kind of just you got like a dry season, kind of the beginning of the year. Like, it's not usually, I feel like, till February or March that you really start seeing like stuff start dropping. I know there's one album that I know is coming out, but I don't know if it has been announced yet. So I don't I don't want to be breaking news. But it's an album I'm really excited about. I think out of the stuff that has been announced is
Brandon, wait. So you have insider knowledge about something that's coming out this year that you're unwilling to share with the rest of us?
I feel like I don't know. You ever had one of those conversations where you're like, how many people have you told this to? Because I've had that, back in the day, like one of the things, well, I still do it, but I do a lot of NASCAR interviews.
Right.
And I had this guy that announced this like movie they were making. And I was like, I don't think you've announced that. And the guy's like, no, we have. It's out there. It's going to be so amazing. And after the interview, I realized this has not been announced. So I reached back out to his like PR person and I'm like, hey, I'm happy to announce this, but I don't think you want me announcing this on my like podcast. And they were like, yes, please delete that. And it's pretty good because COVID happened and it never happened. But that's just, I have a rule that I'm like,
I understand that.
yeah.
But I'm fascinated.
When it gets announced, I'll be like, oh yeah, this thing is coming out.
I'm fascinated to know who you're getting insider info from and what's going on.
I don't know. It could be that what was it that new DC Talk, the Jamie Grace, David Crowder. I'm not gonna say it's that or not that.
But you never know.
I think out of what has been announced is Colony House's 77 Part 2. So they released the 77 album in 2 parts last year. So that was my second favorite release of 2025. And I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. Because I know Part 1 kind of had mixed reviews. So I'm kind of excited to see if Part 2 kind of furthers what they've been doing in it, or if it's more, like faith driven, or if it's kind of like what it falls into. So I'm pretty excited to see kind of what that looks like. And that'll be dropping the second week in February. So it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, not too far away. Yeah, I was trying to think through this a little bit for myself. One, a band that I've really enjoyed over the last year, Idle Threat, has new music coming out, I think, this year in 2026. And so I'm excited about that because I got to see them at Furnace Fest and have really enjoyed their record. And I'm pumped to see what an evolution of that looks like what the next thing looks like, because they just have the one record out. And so and it's been a few years, and so I'm pretty pumped about seeing that. And I saw them like post that they were like filming a music video for it, so and they've said it's coming soon, so I'm assuming that before too long we're gonna have news on that, which would be really fun. And then the other one probably that I'm really excited about is also a part 2. It is As Long As I Am in the Tent of This Body, I Will Make a Joyful Noise by John Van Dusen, part 2. And so I'm pretty sure that one's coming this year. I know he's working on finishing it up right now, and he's self-releasing all that stuff.
Has he announced how many tracks there's going to be on that one?
I think it's about the same as the last record, about like 18 tracks.
36 tracks
altogether. And I think they're like, he didn't release the first volume on vinyl because they're waiting to release them both together on vinyl. And so I'm really excited for that and to get my hands on that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of songs. Basically, really 3, could be 4 albums, depending on how you look at what an album is. So
I feel like we're due for a Starflyer 59 album this year.
I was thinking about that a little bit too. It's hard to know with Jason. I mean, it feels like the Rocky Valentines are just putting out music left and right these days. But yeah, I would love a Starflyer, especially after Lust for Gold. I would love to see something new from Starflyer, and just imagine what that's going to take on. And so is it going to be something to do with Americana? Like, is he going to reimagine like an old style again into, I don't know.
I think that I'm really excited just to see what like Velvet Blue music puts out this year.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they've become just a record label that really surprises me, and I feel like they're just doing stuff that other people aren't, or I guess like they're maybe just I don't know how to describe it. But I feel like a lot of the labels are kind of like, what you're getting like with that. But I found myself loving a lot of their stuff, like Fepeste and all. So I'm pretty excited to see what their roster puts out this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Are you picking up all the Ronnie Martin stuff that's coming out? Are you into that?
His stuff, I feel like it piles up, and then I go and like listen to it. And so, but I feel like I read more Ronnie Martin books last year than I did listen to albums of his. So I don't know if that's good. I don't know.
You were like probably never a big Joy Electric fan.
I like their stuff. I think it's stuff that you put on like every so often, you go and like put on. It's not a daily listener.
Yeah.
So, which we'll get to that later on our game, but
okay, sounds good. Well, I'm excited for that.
It's a Ronnie Martin game, no?
Well, Andrew, we appreciate the question and look forward to getting more questions so we can talk about these things that you guys want to hear us chat through. And so thanks for that. Send in more questions to us at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com, and we will love to have those conversations as we go. So it's time for us to play a game.
Let's play, it's time to play a game. Let's play, it's time to play a game.
Brandon, what have you got for us today?
All right, so this week we are covering an Abandoned Kansas record. So I was trying to think, should we look up Kansas trivia? What should we do?
That would be rough.
So instead of a trivia, I have I don't know if you would call it a would you rather or just what.
Okay.
But we're going to go with the first part of their name, and that's abandon.
Okay.
So for this game, Joel, you are going to be on an abandoned island. Okay.
Gotcha.
And you are going to have to make a choice about 3 artists. Okay. And here's the 3, I guess, like questions you have to answer. Okay. So you're stranded on this abandoned island. You can choose one artist whose entire catalog you can bring. And just for clarity's sake, we're going to say, like, if it's Toby Mac, it's just his solo stuff. So it's not DC Talk. It's just you type in the name and you get all of that.
Okay.
So one artist, you can have their entire catalog to bring with you and to listen to while you're waiting to be rescued or while you're enjoying this abandoned island or whatever. One artist is stranded with you on the island. So they're alive, they're hanging out, and so they're helping you get off the island, or like I said, you guys are waiting to be saved or whatever. And then you have one artist who's rescuing you. All right?
Okay.
So let's go first with whose catalog are you bringing?
All right. So the artist whose catalog that I'm bringing to the island, this abandoned island, I think I have, and this could be recency bias, but just the sheer catalog that already exists out there, plus the variety that's there, I think I'm going to have to go with John Van Dusen.
Okay.
Because you have all the 4 I Am Origami albums, some of which are like tooth and nail, more like alternative indie rock, then you've got more worship stuff. There's just a lot of variety that is in his stuff, and so I feel like it would give me a good, like, broad amount of stuff to listen to, and so I'd probably go with that. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm going with Toby Mac. And I think that a lot of the artists I listen to, it's this like deeper stuff. So like if I'm stranded, I don't know if I want to listen to like a Me Without You or a House of Heroes. So I feel like with Toby's stuff, if I just need to relax, I've got that. If I need something to get me like going, I've got some more stuff that's like a little heavier on there. So I can go with some Toby Mac.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
All right, so now who's going to be stranded on the island with you? So this is someone who is, like I said, you're either hanging out with or you're getting them to help you build your raft or your boat or start a fire or whatever.
So I think for all of the above, the answer that I would have to give is Rich Mullins. Rich is a guy who's kind of rough around the edges in a lot of ways. And so when it comes to living on the island, like, I just feel like it's going to be natural for him. And so I can naturally just kind of learn from him what that looks like. Just because he's a guy that got back to like the simple stuff of life. Like, he left the limelight of the CCM stage and went to live on a Native American reservation and just taught kids about the gospel and sang songs. And I'm like, yes. But I think we would have the most fascinating conversations as well. And I think Rich looked a lot like Jesus. And so I think if I had to pick an artist, like, he would be the one that I would want to be hanging around with and spending time with. So, yeah, Rich Mullins.
I think it's funny real fast is because I typed in manly Christian artist. You want to guess who's the number one Google one that popped up?
Brandon Lake.
Chris Tomlin.
Yeah, that surprises me.
It would be funny if it came out that Chris Tomlin actually was a huge outdoorsman. I think for me, I'm going the route of I'm hoping to be saved fast.
But they're not the person that's saving you. They're the person that you're hanging out with.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not planning on being this island for long. So I feel like I don't need someone who's like needs to help build a shelter.
I gotcha.
I'm just going with someone that I'm thinking we start a campfire. And I think I need someone who's like on maybe the same basic survival level as me. I'm going
not more.
No, that for some reason I don't want them to I don't want to spend my whole time on the island feeling like I'm not helping.
Okay.
I need someone who's like, I don't know how to fish. Oh, me neither, man. Like, I don't know how to build a raft out of a boat or out of an oak tree. I'm going to go with Gable Price.
Okay.
I feel like just from his Instagram and all, I feel like we would get along really well. If he's listening to this right now, like, you know, I could be one of the friends.
Gable, if you ever want to get stranded on an island, I'm in.
That's what, if I ever do a meet and greet, I'll be like, hey, man.
That's funny.
And then finally, the artist who is rescuing you. So this person is, I don't know, showing up in a plane or on a boat, or they're just like, one day they come cutting through the forest with a machete.
This one's the hard one for me. And I guess because like does it actually, are they rescuing me no matter what, or these are the people that are attempting to rescue me?
Yeah, they're going to rescue no matter what.
Okay. So like that's interesting because I'm not like thinking about their actual ability to rescue me.
Whatever they do, it works out right.
Then I'd probably have to go. I'm going to go with a large group of people just because it's more fun. And so I'll go with Five Iron Frenzy. I would want Reese Roper to be the one busting through the foliage saying, "We did it. We're here." It just sounds like it'd be a good time of a rescue. So yeah, Five Iron Frenzy.
You said large group. I was thinking like Casting Crowns.
No, I meant people.
I'm going to go with Jason Martin.
Okay.
I just imagine him showing up. He's got a leather jacket on, and I don't know, he shows up like in a semi truck or whatever.
Jason Martin would be an interesting one too for like with you on the island. Because he's so cool that like everything he does would just work. And so you wouldn't have to worry about anything just because you're with Jason Martin. He's like the epitome of the cool guy.
He's just snapping his finger, coconut falls in one hand, fire starts in the other.
It just works. I love that. That's a great answer.
There you go. It sounds like we're going to be thriving on these abandoned islands.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. That's fun. That's fun. Well, thanks for walking us through that. That's a fun thing to think through. Brandon, let's talk about what we've been listening to lately. What have you been spending time with?
I had this just pulled up before you said that. If you want to go first.
Yeah, I can start if that's helpful.
Oh, no, I can go. Sorry, I just pulled it up. I didn't know where I had it pulled up. I was listening to some Bleach the other day.
Hey.
I was listening to I forget what I was listening to, but you know how like I don't know if it does the same with Apple, but with Spotify, once you finish an album, a lot of times it'll just start on a playlist of stuff, kind of the same way. And it came on, and I was like, "Oh, that's Bleach," and it ended up being like 4 or 5 of their songs that came on, so it wasn't like intentional.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and I feel like in the coming week or so, I'll definitely be diving more into them. Because I think even like in the past, it's kind of like a little bit of this album or that album I've listened to. But I'm pretty excited to get to dive in and learn a little bit more about them and their sound.
That's fun. Do you remember any of the songs that popped up for you?
I think it was primarily off of their like self-titled 1999 release with like a couch on it.
That's a good record.
And then I think again for the first time, because I think Baseline came on there. I recognized that. The other ones, man, I feel like if I played them, I would.
Those are probably my 2 favorite Bleach records. So that's fun for sure. Yeah, for me, we've talked about the beginning of the year being a little bit of a dry spell for like new music, and so it does feel that way for me. And so, I don't have a CCM Christian answer for this question this go around, but I think that one thing that came out that I didn't know about until my nephew actually told me about it was the band Sigaros. they re-released in 2025 a 20th anniversary of their Talk album, which is one of my favorite records by them. And so that by itself was really cool. But then they put out a different version of it called Tape Variations as well, which is more like chill, almost like dreamy kind of versions of the songs that I think somebody else helped them like reimagine. And it's really, really good, and the kind of music that I can turn on and get some work done too. And so it's been something that's like popped up in the background a lot for me. But I love Cigarettes. They're great. All right, well, let's get into Abandoned Kansas. And so I'll give us a little information about this record. There's not a lot out there on this one, but Ad Astra Per Aspera is the second studio album by the American Christian rock band Abandoned Kansas. It's their first full-length album released by Goatee Records, following up their EP on Goatee, We're All Going Somewhere. Jesus Freak Hideout gave this 4 stars, and HM Magazine 3 stars when it came out. Brandon, talk to me a little bit about your history with this band and this album.
Yeah, I found Abandoned Kansas. So I go back to before streaming. There was this magical time where there was digital music that you could get for free legally from places. And Goatee Records was one of those places that gave away music for free. So each of their artists, they would have sometimes 1, sometimes 3 tracks on there you could download. So I downloaded it from a couple of tracks from their We're All Going Somewhere EP.
Yeah.
And just really liked, because I think they were kind of around the time that I was getting into more of this I guess alternative or like indie sound. And I think that's where I really found a home with my music listening, was just bands that were their own thing.
Yeah.
And I just felt like they were doing that. So whenever they released this one, I remember being like, oh, that's pretty cool. They're releasing this one. And what's funny is going back and listening, I don't think I ever listened to the second side of this. Heaven Come My Way, Like It or Not, are songs that have been on so many playlists, but there's a lot of this album. So it was funny that I remember you asking, hey, is there one of these anniversary albums that you want? And I think I even said, we should do this album. It's awesome. I was like, I don't know why I was like, this is awesome, even though I haven't listened to majority of it. I'm just assuming it's awesome. What's funny is, and I think that this album holds a distinction of, it is the only album that I own an air freshener of.
Oh.
Because back in the day, Goatee was doing these really cool things with their releases where with House of Heroes, they would send these dog tags with the end is not the end. And then they would send out postcards with Suburba. And then with this one, they gave out postcards and I think maybe a bookmark, but they also gave away an air freshener. So at my house on my bookshelf, I've got a air freshener from this album.
Is it still wrapped?
Yeah, it's still wrapped.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Scent is still
I don't
in
know
there.
what the scent of this album is, but
But it's heavenly.
but I feel, I was about to say I was a sucker, but I'm still a sucker for, I think that's so cool whenever people put out just some kind of creative thing like that. It just adds to the album.
I think I've got the Suburba postcards from when I bought that album, from the vinyl when it came out. Yeah, that's cool. So when this album came out, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the year. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So Abandoned Kansas, I was in student ministry. I was a youth pastor at the time, and I was getting that whole, the thing where youth pastors will pay, I don't even remember what it's called now, and get Christian albums. You'll get a box of them every month or every 2 months, so that you can listen to and expose your students to all this music, which was cool. And it really allowed me to get exposed to a lot of these bands that I probably wouldn't have because I tend to like stay in my own lane when it comes to music.
Yeah.
But when I got these CDs, I'm like, of course I'm going to go and check them out and listen to them. And so one of those that I got was that EP, We're All Going Somewhere, by a band in Kansas. And so I put it in and instantly was just like, man, I love this. I dig this. It's creative. It's out there. But the songwriting is so good. There's like a randomness to their music.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it as we get into the album, but they take a lot of creative risk. Not just like in big ways, but in a lot of small ways, which I think is really interesting. And so for me, like on that EP, We're All Going Somewhere, that just worked like all the time.
Yeah.
And there's not a song on that EP that I don't love. And I think it's really good. And I remember when Ad Astra Per Aspera came out, I think I somehow have the Amazon release of this that came with a bonus track.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just bought it on Amazon or I probably did buy the CD on Amazon or something and somehow got the bonus track. But yeah, I just the whole time was like, this is a band that's pretty creative. And so, however, like I never spent as much time with this full length record as I did with that EP. And so it was interesting for me to kind of go back and listen to it and catch up on it. Do you know what Ad Astra Per Aspera means?
I actually looked it up for this, but I was seeing different translations. Like one was like, it was like hope and faith, and then another one was like doubt and fear, and then another thing said like to the stars.
Yeah, I think it's the To the Stars. So what
like
I saw
ChatGPT was lying to me.
To the stars through hardship or suffering or something like that. And so I thought that was really interesting. You know what's really fascinating about this though, Brandon? Ad Astra Per Aspera is the motto of the state of Kansas. And so I couldn't help but think through that a little bit because they're abandoning Kansas. And so does that also mean that they're abandoning the idea of to the stars through hardship?
I don't know. Maybe they're just a band that
Abandon Kansas?
yeah.
Yeah, you have to wonder. I actually think there is something to that they were joking about being a band in Kansas. And
I think that's where it came from.
Yeah.
We're just a band in Kansas.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, abandoned Kansas. Yeah.
One of those names that you're like, it sounds so cool, but you're like, does it make sense?
Anyways, that's kind of a cool title. Just knowing everything that's there about that. So I thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit about this. Any big thoughts before we kind of break into track for track that you want to talk about?
No, I think it's just it's interesting because I think that like I made a comment earlier that I think Abandoned Kansas came at a time where there was just a lot going on, and I think bands like this sometimes get overlooked because I think that like a House of Heroes, they're not like a household name, but I feel like there's a good bit of people that if you mention like a House of Heroes or a Showbread or even like a Family Force 5, they're like, yeah, I know them. But I feel like a band in Kansas, they fall more into not like a Neon Horse level, but I think that they're a band that you have less people or people might, it takes some listening to a song to, and I don't know, I think bands like that is always kind of sad when you listen to something like this, because if I remember correctly, I don't think that this was a huge commercial success. Yeah. And listening to it, like it kind of, I don't know, like I love knowing the backgrounds to albums, and sometimes that helps, and sometimes that just kind of, it gets a little kind of depressing when you're like, oh, this album doesn't have the best like
Yeah.
history or whatever.
Yeah, I think so I don't want to get too far ahead in talking about it, but I think there's a lot on this album that works really well. But I don't think that it's as cohesive and it works as well as that EP, We're All Going Somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think that there are songs here that are the height of the songs on that album. And I do think that they probably it's just interesting because to me, that record is a little more raw and a little more edgy, a little heavier. And they don't ever really get there on this album. So it's a little bit of a like softer take on their sound in some ways. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it. Let's start track by track. So first track on the record is Heaven Come My Way. What were your thoughts on that one?
I think it sets up the rest of the album really well. There's this like struggle and this search going on. This is a song that I've always loved. I think if I had a Mount Rushmore of Abandoned Kansas songs, like this one's probably making it onto there.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's good, and I just love that Jeremy, the lead singer, like he just paints this picture of this like this dysfunction or this despair or this struggle, whatever you want to call it, like just really well.
Yeah.
And it comes across as just that this is a guy that someone's not handing him like, here's someone else's story. Can you please like tell that? Like it feels like this is the band that's telling how they're feeling. And I think that works really well for them.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. And I think that one of the things that I do love about this record that I think from start to finish is just really strong are the lyrics. I think he's a great songwriter and really thoughtful. And so the lyrics all are creative in all those ways. And I think that they work really well. And I mean, this song is an example of that, but the things that stand out to me here, like they are weird guitar players. Like they do things with a guitar that other bands don't do. They're riskier. They're like, the tempos that they play on are weird with guitars. The rhythms that they use, there's like weird chorded rhythm guitars with these also interesting and kind of weird lead lines, but it works really well on a song like Heaven Come My Way. And his vocals are great. I don't think the vocals are as like present as they are on We're All Going Somewhere on that EP. But they're really good. I think it's a great opener. It's got a lot of energy. It's, I would say, probably the poppiest song on the record, the catchiest song on the record. And I love at the end, the tie-in to the album title, the To the Stars section and ending, like is a clear call to like, this is what this album is. And so, yeah, I think this is a great song and it works. I love it.
Next we move to Liar. How do you feel about that track?
Yeah. Again, the guitar work is interesting and kind of fascinating to me. The rhythm guitars reminded me of some of like the Killers guitar work. These like just really interesting ways of playing a rhythm to a song that's in like a pretty normal time signature. And so I thought that was fascinating. The drums are great on this. I like this song, but like all of the like catchy and pop melody of the first song, I feel like is missing on this song. It doesn't catch me as much like melodically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think this is a track that I feel like back when I listened to it, it was kind of like a skip track, just because I feel like it wasn't on the same level. But I think that now I really appreciate the chorus. I feel like it's got a really strong chorus, And I think too, it's just like whenever you introduce Tim Skipper into the equation, it just lifts a song up. And so I
in.
think I appreciated it, like all of the like the fan of House of Heroes aside and all. I feel like even if I didn't like know Tim, I would still be like, okay, this other guest vocalist is like adding a little bit of like heart or whatever, like to the calling out or like the accusing of like you're a liar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's not like as good as like Heaven Come My Way, but I feel like it was still like a solid track.
That's cool. Track number 3, Like It or Not. What'd you think about this one? It's got a little bit of a different feel.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get your thoughts on this one.
Okay.
I love this track. I love it. It's got a really fun music video, and I feel like that stuff, it's hard to disconnect sometimes, because
Yeah,
I feel like
for
there's
sure.
tracks where I'm like, I love the track, but that music video was really bad. But I love it, and I think it's a nice change of pace to keep this whole record from being a like, oh, I'm stuck in sorrow or I'm depressed or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a nice kind of change, and I think it is a lot different, but I think it works well because you still have this like cleverness throughout it and just this like funness to it.
Yeah. I love the fact that it's different. I love that it opens up with like piano and hand claps. And,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff I'm here for. Like, let's change the pace up from just starting with a guitar riff to doing something that's a little different. And so I thought that was great. This song works really well for me throughout most of it. But they do this thing on the verses. Like on the first verse, you have the piano hand clap thing going on. And on the last verse, you have this like these guitar hits that are really on verse 3, these guitar hits that are really cool. That work really well. Verse 3 is awesome. I love the feel of it.
Yeah.
But they do this thing on verse 2 where they're transitioning throughout the song to that, and they do the guitar hits with the piano thing, and it doesn't work for me like together in verse 2. And that, for whatever reason, like I love the rest of the song, but verse 2, I'm just like, what? This feels super disjointed. Like the two things I just didn't feel like worked well together.
Yeah.
Even though I love them both individually. And so that's one of those moments where I'm like, they tried something that was creative, and I just don't know like that it landed super well. But I love the fact that they're trying it. But the song is great. I love the gang vocals that are on it. I love the drums on the bridge are so cool.
Yeah.
I think the chorus, the melody's better than Liar, and so this was definitely like a step up for me. And I'm like, yeah, I love this. This is cool.
Yeah. We move into Golden State next. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Golden State. I like the guitars that are at the start. It's not my favorite song. And this is one that I definitely remembered because that line just stands out to me. That like the idea of California burning like a cigarette or whatever. Like, it stood out to me years ago. And so, I mean, I think it's fine. But, and it's weird because I really love his vocals. I love his voice and I love his vocals, but I feel like, again, they try and do these things creatively that are a little like dissonant, that aren't like standard pop, whatever. And so I just feel like this is a place where the chorus takes a hit because of that. And there are places where I feel like he could be going up and like lifting the chorus up a little bit, but instead he makes the choice to like go down, and it just like loses, I think, a little bit of what it could do because of that. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think this is one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it's hard to describe. I think the part that just sets this, and every time I listen to it, like I think it just like I think it just makes the whole song is that there's just this like power behind whenever he goes like, then I came around and the whole place caught on fire. Like it's this I don't know how to describe it because I feel like it's not like they're doing this grand thing, but it like starts with just kind of this like, like da 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 da. Then that hits and it feels like there's just like I said, I don't know how, but it's like the energy volume or power just gets like shot up like with it, and I just think it's really cool. Like it almost gives you for me, it almost gives me like chills when I hear it.
Yeah.
And I just I appreciate like that part like of the song.
Yeah, I know this is one of the more popular songs off this record, and I get why. And I mean, it's one of the songs that stuck with me that I remembered pretty significantly from when I was listening to this record, and so I get that. I just wish that some of the choices were like a little different on it. So, all right, track 5 is A Conversation with the Sky. What were your thoughts on this one?
I liked it. I liked the thing they were doing where his microphone, it sounded like he was like talking through like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Or there's just like, I don't know, like there's like paper in between his voice or whatever. I felt like it added, like I feel like with his voice, like it's definitely a voice that people either love or they get like tired of after a while.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's cool when you're doing these little things, like even when it is just this little tweak of this effect on a microphone. I think it helps with that.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I think the groove of it is cool. I think the song builds in all the right ways as it goes on. I love the guitar work. I think it's really good. The pre-choruses are cool. The ending of the song is cool. There's like some pretty strong synths that are going on there. And so, yeah, I like this one. I think it's for me one of the stronger songs on the record.
Yeah. Where else can we go? But talking about track 6, where else can we go?
Yeah. So track 6, where else can we go? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. This is one of my favorite, maybe top 2 favorite songs on the record. I think it's a good pace change, which maybe you're not here for. I don't know, but it worked well for me. There were like qualities of like a hymn almost in it that I felt, and maybe that's part of why I loved it, because I love hymns, but there's like a lot of changes that happen throughout this song, and it's one of those like risky creative things that Abandoned Kansas does. It doesn't always work for me, but it works for me on this one. I think it works well. I really like this one.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I wrote down too, was that I just really enjoyed these like changes of pace and how it transitions from this like slow soft to like this gradual like more energy.
Yeah.
For me it like worked. I think it's really fascinating too that I think for me a lot of times like there's stuff where it's like lyrics or something that I'll think about like the choices people are making with this or that, but I think it's fascinating kind of hearing you point out the little things with like guitar or like the little sounds, and it's just like, I don't know, to me it's just interesting kind of like hearing you build like your case for your review off of this,
Right.
because it reminds me of albums that I'm like, yeah, this could go either way, because it's like if you make these 10 changes, it's a 4.5, album or whatever. But if you make the other ones, it's not so much like that. So I think it's just interesting kind of like going with this and seeing just kind of like almost keeping a tally of how many like choices are being made where it's like, let's take this risk.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah, I definitely on this one. I was taking notes on all the creative risks. So that's the thing that is interesting to like judge a band by. But yeah, I don't know. Track 7 is "Take My Lead." What you think about that one?
I like the change of sound
Yeah.
with this one. I like that they're taking that risk and just giving a little bit of a different spin. Um, I think the lyrics on this record have stood out, but for this one, I especially love the why do the best of us feel all the shame while the worst of us don't feel a thing? Sometimes I don't feel anything. Like I I think this just came at a point in my life where so much of Christian music was like, it's almost like a wink wink, like, oh man, I only prayed for 5 minutes today. I'll do better like next time.
Yeah.
And stuff like this was just like, oh, there's a middle ground where you can be at a healthy place where you're not just saying like, I'm horrible, I can't fix anything, but also there's this place of, yeah, like I'm not doing anything. You know, I'm yelling at these people for not helping the poor, but what am I doing to
Right.
help the poor or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I agree with you. I like the theme here. The lyrics I think were super strong. Just the idea of like kind of being a wanderer through this life. It's also really synthy, which I love. I love synthesizers, and I think that there's a great use of that here. It does really interesting things like later on in the song. There's like instrumental section and these horns come in, which I thought was kind of fascinating. I think they're just like some creative elements that didn't work as well for me. Things like the horns and stuff that, but overall, like I liked what the song was doing and where it was going. And with you, I think especially the lyrics I thought were really strong here. So
Next we have Wings, Fear of Heights. What were your thoughts?
so this song kind of comes out of the gates like blazing, like full on, just like.
Yeah.
But and they again, there's this really unique like lead guitar thing that sounds like only a lead guitar part that a band in Kansas would play on this song, and you have to respect that a lot. The fact that somebody's creating something that's unique, because man, how many bands are playing these like lead guitar lines? And I never listen to a band and I'm like, oh, that guitar work is really unique. Like it's just not something that hits my ears ever. But it does with them. And so I have to give a lot of respect to that for sure. And I like the piano that's going. I just feel like this song hits like full on blazing and then it never like goes anywhere from there. Like it just kind of, I don't know. I want it to do something different, especially with who they are as a band and their creativity. And I just felt like it always was just kind of, it started and ended in the same place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me it almost is like it started at this higher place but then turned into just kind of like a regular band in Kansas song. So like I appreciated that there was like a change to like keep it fresh, but there wasn't like a giant like it almost feels like with this one there's those like there's all these like little chances, but there's not this like breaking out type thing. And I feel like this one almost like, I mean, it's been a while since I've listened to, but I feel like it almost stands on its own as its own thing. Cause like their indie stuff before Goatee, I've only listened to like a little bit, maybe one time through, but We're All Going Somewhere is kind of like, I think you would describe it was as like gritty or like this more indie thing. Then you have this, then they move on to like their last Goatee thing, which was very much a poppy, how do we get radio hits like type of feel. So I feel like this one was this like almost mixture, and it's been a while since I've listened to like Jeremy Spring like interview about this. So like I'm trying to remember like if this was like all of their baby or if there was like Goatee stepping in and saying we need this or that from it. Because I want to say this was what they made what they wanted to make on this one, but
Yeah.
like I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
We'll just pause this and I'll go listen to a podcast for 2 hours.
I do think this song is like, for all the creativity on the record, this one feels most like just like a standard song. And so for that reason, it doesn't like really stand out to me as much. But yeah. Track number 9 is Learn. Tell me about Learn.
Yeah, I liked the bass, and this was the track I was telling you earlier about that I couldn't figure out who the like other vocalist was. I don't know if it was a member of the band or who it was, but I don't know. I like the track though. Sorry, as I said that, I was like, I'm gonna look it up. So I'm let me pass it to you before I start typing and looking it up.
Yeah, I like once it gets going, I'm in. It's one of those instances where like the opening guitar is kind of like weird, and it's one of those songs where it feels like they felt the pressure to try and do the creative weird thing, and that guitar line, like it's like pretty standard, and then at the end it like takes this weird turn, and every time I heard it, it just kind of like unsettled me a little bit. And so, I don't know, but I liked Together kind of where it was going. And I was trying to figure out this, like, is this a song about like discipleship? Like, which I just thought was kind of an interesting thing for them to be talking about. But like, as I read through the lyrics and was thinking about them, like, that's the idea that came to my head, at least. Maybe not what the thing that they were thinking, but yeah, once it kind of got into its groove, I was into it.
Yeah, I'm looking this up now, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that ChatGPT does not understand Christian music, because I typed in the like credits for the album, and it came up as artist Abandoned Kansas, label Tooth and Nail Records, release year 2002. And the band members, Mike Nelson, lead vocals. I don't know any of these people.
That's funny. Yeah, I think part of that is what we said earlier. There's just not a lot of information about this record out there.
Same was produced by Mark Lee Townsend.
It was.
I didn't realize that.
It was, like, as any good Goatee album is. It's going to be produced by Mark Lee Townsend. So, yeah, do you have anything else to add on that one? Or?
No, I think I'm good on that one.
All right. Well, let's talk about track 10. Last track on the record, Give and Take. Tell me about it.
I think that it was such a nice surprise to see Stephanie Smith or Skipper appear on there. I feel like that was like a really big highlight to be like, whoa, she's here. I like ending on this type of song too. I feel like it wraps up the album in a really nice way. And I feel like when you're dealing with a band like this or an album like this, like that's really important to end with something that like you don't want to leave them being like that's it or what's going to go on. So I feel like it was kind of just nice, like I think it wrapped it up in a nice little bow at the end.
Yeah. This doesn't really have anything to do with the song, but I wrote down in my notes at the beginning of this, I said there should have been an acoustic song on this record. I don't know why I wrote that down there, but I think it's just what I was thinking. Like, it feels like a missed opportunity because I feel like they could do some like really interesting creative things with some acoustic work as like a change of pace.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt myself like wanting that on this. Anyways, no, I thought this song was really cool. It's, it starts out as like the chillest song on the record. But I thought the strings were pretty fascinating and kind of cool. The lyrics I just love. Like, and please, like, if you're gonna end an album end an album with like a lyric that you repeat over and over again that's like really well written. And so the idea of am I more than the sum of the things that I have or haven't done is, I think, such a great, like almost anthematic like theme at the end. And then the idea of can you restore what's been taken at the end. I thought the lyrics were really good on this, and I like you, like I thought it was a really good wrap to the whole record. And so this one was like a really positive like surprise to me, kind of at the end, because I don't know how often I had listened to it before. Yeah, so. Well, any kind of closing thoughts that you have on the album, and I can't wait to hear where your rating sits for this one.
Yeah, I think, like I said, when I first sent this to you, I was like, man, I love this album. And then listening to it, I was like, I feel like I'm going into it with I know 20% of the songs on here, if that. And so, yeah, I was really happy because I think that one of the reviews I had read was that they were like, this is an album that can quickly become okay, we've already been here. So I didn't find myself like wanting the album to end or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was cool to have Tim and Stephanie appear. I feel like that's cool whenever you have like these like the people on the same record label like appearing in each other's stuff. And I feel like for me that was kind of this nostalgia of, man, what a time in music. Like I think for me, like I said, like 2010 to, I don't know, 2013 or whatever, that's when I was just finding all of these new artists and being like, this is out here, or this is help shaping like who I'm gonna become now, or whatever. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think for me, I landed at a 4 for this album, for this album. I felt like it wasn't my like favorite Abandoned Kansas release. I feel like it's saying something when it's like, oh, I feel like it's like a Switchfoot thing where like for you, if you were to say this is my like 4-star Switchfoot album, but it's not really their best one.
Right.
So, but I felt like they put out something that was special, and I think that I applaud the chances that were being taken on here.
Yeah, I feel like a 4 is a pretty strong rating for not your favorite Abandoned Kansas album. But maybe you love Abandoned Kansas more than I thought.
I think it's just you mix in, like I said, you add in a little bit of Tim Skipper, some Stephanie. You have, I don't know what the secret recipe is for that first verse of Golden State, but I feel like that track was so good at the beginning that there's at least like a 0.4 like that was added to the thing just for those like that 2 lines from that or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that depending on the day, I could see it being a 3.5, but I think a 4 is pretty good for it.
Yeah. So I think for me, again, just some highlights for me are definitely the lyrics. I think the writing on this is really good. And I have so much respect for just the creativity that they put into making an album like this. Because most bands are just going to do a straightforward record with songs like this. But they always take the opportunity to do something weird with it. And so I think that's both like a strong point, but also like a weak point for me on this one, because where it works, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But where it doesn't work for me as much, like I feel like hurts some of the songs. And so I'm going to go with a 3.2, which is my kind of like averaged out rating.
Yeah.
And there were some songs on here like Heaven Come My Way and Where Else Can We Go that were like 4.5 songs for me, like just great songs. But there were some weak spots for me too that were just kind of a struggle. But overall, I think it's a really good record, and I'm looking forward to one day covering We're All Going Somewhere and talking about that, because that's one that I really love from them. So
I think one of my takeaways from this is just the what if this would have had an acoustic. And what's funny is when you said that, I think that's when I started thinking, man, maybe this is a 3.5 because that's true. There's not an acoustic. Do you remember? Because so for me, I listened to it on Spotify. Do you remember what that bonus track sounded like on Amazon?
I don't. I probably have it in my I just listened to it off Apple Music, but I probably have it in like my iTunes library. If I looked in my library instead of like going straight to the Apple Music version of it. But
yeah, that just makes me like, I wonder if that track like improves or takes away.
I do have it. It's called Don't Forget Where You Came From. And so we'll have to give it a listen after we get finished recording and see what we think. Maybe it's the acoustic song that we were waiting for.
Man, that's what a game changer.
I might have to revise my rating on the next episode of Hey, Are You Listening? For this one. Well, that's cool. Well, Brandon, let's talk about the lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
All right, our lyric of the week comes from their track Give and Take, and it is can you restore what's been taken? Can you restore what's been given away? I'd like a little of your blood, but that's all. Just enough forgiveness to keep on being careless.
That's heavy. Yeah, a lot to think about there. Really interesting. That's cool. Well, this has been fun to work through and talk through. It's cool for me to revisit an album that's not like a 30-year-old record, but one that was more recent, even though it's got some age on it at this point, and kind of dig into it. So I appreciate being able to hear from you.
I think that it's the 15th, so it can legally drive with a parent or guardian now.
There you go. Congratulations. To the stars.
A lot of the albums we're reviewing can buy a house or...
Right. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there. That's cool. Well, hey, thanks you, the listener, as well for joining us. We're so grateful for you, and keep listening, share the podcast as you're listening to it, subscribe, leave us a review, find us out on Facebook, and send us some questions to heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com. And we look forward to hanging out with you again next week.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming.